I have an anointed over my life, and I know that. So I have to be obedient and responsible with that. I can't do what other people do because God gonna make an example out of me every
single
time.
time.
Every time.
I'm right here with you.
And I just be like, I'm not gonna lie.
I can do it one time.
I done told you before. I'm like, I'm on a strong soldier list again. Like, remove me immediately. What that? Okay, I'm not trying to talk about that man on the TikTok, but he say, cut the cameras. I'm done. Like, that be me almost every other week, okay? Because I'm like,
All right, guys. So we have my very first guest. Not only is this someone where her and I share very long voice memos, and she's 1/3 of the K Camp Concert Trio, but she's Dallas born and raised, owner and creative force behind Foreign Closet, a contemporary fashion brand, and that she founded in 2016 that blends craftsmanship, storytelling, and innovation in tech. Her company specializes in unisex leather, goods, and apparel designs that elevate everyday style while honoring sustainability, individuality, and quality. Okay, so Foreign Closet has walked the runway internationally. She's a featured designer in Paris Fashion Week because her vision doesn't just stay local, it travels. She's also been featured in Vanity Fair. She's known as Billionaire B, Jumbotron Bria, and now she's giving back, teaching at her alma mater, the University of North Texas, in the College of Merchandising and Digital Retailing. She's energy. She's a visionary. Her face has light up the billboards in Times Square, in New York Times Square. And last but absolutely never least, she's created a nonprofit foundation honoring her late father, Charles E. Whitaker Jr. And she's gracefully joining us today. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to bring you Superior Conversations' very first guest, Bria Whitaker.
oh, I'm honored. Hey, girl.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you? Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday.
How you feeling?
I feel good.
Okay, period. Come on.
So I am very excited to have you here today.
I'm excited too.
Are you ready to get into it?
Let's go.
Okay.
Bring the smoke. No, it's funny.
So let's start at the beginning. Where does your journey truly begin? At what age did you first realize you had a special gift or passion? And how did that shape you early on?
Yes, I would definitely say like when I was leaving, what was that, elementary going into middle school, I'll never forget one of my teachers had told me, she was like, your energy is like a magnet. Like people are going to naturally gravitate to you. And at the time, when you're in middle school, you like, oh, okay, like I don't even know what you're talking about. Like I knew what she was talking about, but it didn't really dawn on me until I got older. Mm-hmm. And then, like I started noticing like, okay, my energy is like a magnet, and I have to have that discernment on how I use my energy.
Right.
So I really think my energy is like one of my superpowers, honestly. So,
I would agree. Yeah. I would say your energy is very contagious. Mm-hmm. Like even if it's just watching your story, like you just always so bubbly. You just be smiling. Like I don't even know why I'm smiling, but I'm like,
I love that.
No, and honestly, so I mean, it starts there, and I guess the next question would be, like, okay, so you discovered your energy in like middle school, but how did you first like realize that you wanted to go into fashion? Like what has this journey been like? I would say, starting from there, but like what was your first introduction to fashion that made you be like, okay, this is the lane that I want to go down?
Yeah, I would definitely say as a kid, like the first person is my dad. He was really big into fashion when he was in high school. He won best dress, different things like that. So just seeing him, he was like, you're going to be smart. You're going to be book smart. You're going to have a little street smart. You're going to do all of that. We're going to be good, but you got to be fly. And so like he taught me like basically what they say, put it on.
Right.
And then of course, as I got older, I developed my own style and tweaked it a little bit. And then another person who influenced me when it came to fashion was my brother, Eric. I just really adore him. That's my little bean. And I just adore him because it's like he just does him. Right. And he does it like effortlessly. So it's just like
I
his
would agree to
style.
that. It's like it's not too much, but it's like simple, but in a good way. But it's
Yeah,
fly,
but we have two different styles, and that's okay, you know.
right?
But his confidence, like
Mm-hmm.
his confidence, my dad's confidence, it's just like they inspire me. And then my late grandmother, we call her Mima, which is my mom's mom.
Okay.
That's where I got like my girliness from, because heels, purses, furs, pearls, all of that. I'm in her bathroom looking at her makeup, walking out. You know how the
Mm-hmm.
girls do with the heels, and I'm like, Mima, can I put on your pearls for today? You know, like, so I would say those three people definitely influenced it. And then when I got to high school in DeSoto, shout out to DeSoto High School. When I went to DeSoto,
TTHL. I'm sorry. You can
when
continue.
I went to DeSoto, I remember taking a fashion design class, and
Okay.
I was really intrigued. Like, I grew up enjoying fashion, and even this was not to share my age, but this is when not Best Buy, Blockbuster
Okay.
was out,
We the
and
same
so
age, Bria.
yeah, no, I'm saying like the
With
viewers.
everybody
Yeah,
else,
the
I forgot they
viewers.
there.
Some people don't know what Blockbuster is. So I remember like
Crazy.
on Friday nights, Saturdays, we'll go to Blockbuster. Everybody pick out their movie. And while we was in the checkout line, I'm like, can I get this Teen Vogue magazine and this Cosmopolitan, different things like that. Mom was like, add it to the cart, girl. So, like looking at that side, but then also my family, they influenced me. But like I said, when I got to high school, I realized DeSoto offered two fashion classes, fashion design and fashion marketing. And back then, people were just kind of taking it for like an easy credit. But I was really intrigued. I was taking notes. I had my little sewing machine. I'll never forget, this girl was like, you really took that class serious and you really like did something with it. So when people wasn't really taking it serious or skipping, like I was literally, yes, I was really tapped in. Like I was really like, I think I love this.
Okay.
So then it just kind of, went from there. So best decision ever.
Okay, no, I love that. So, can you take us back to the first project? Like, what is your very first project? And, what was that experience like?
That's a good one. I would say, wait, my first project for Foreign Closet or just first
Well,
creative project?
I'll say your first creative project that helped spark you into like entrepreneurship.
Okay. I would say back in college, undergrad, when I went to the University of North Texas, the Maymester of 2014, I was able to study abroad. So we went to Hong Kong and China. And that whole experience, like just traveling, has always been like something that inspired me when I'm like making my designs or doing something fashion related. So being able to travel overseas, that was my first time going overseas, and then I went to Hong Kong at that. So the flight time, crazy. But I
And you
just
were how old at this time?
2014, I don't know. I was in undergrad. I was in my 20s.
Okay.
Early 20s.
Early 20s, though.
I was in
I
early
just want to make
20s.
sure that we're tracking the timeline because
Oh,
you've
okay,
already
yes.
been to
Oh,
Hong
okay, yes,
Kong and
yes,
you've already
yes.
done this
Okay, so
very early
it
on.
probably was like 22, 23,
Okay.
maybe.
22.
No, I take that back. No, 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 no. I don't know. I was in my early 20s. Let's just say that. I don't remember. But
In international.
yes, international. And so, like, that was a big deal. My family was like, we don't know about all that. But I was like, I'm going. So it was good because when we went to Hong Kong and China, we was able to look at the manufacturing side of the industry, also logistics. I was a logistics basically minor. My minor was logistics and marketing. So it's one thing to be in those lectures and, looking at the slides and you're like, okay, this is cool. But to actually see it, like be at a port where you see all the ships and all these brands like loading and then you just see them sail away. It's like I'm visual. So seeing that connected and meeting manufacturers, now looking back at it, like it seemed like that was like God planting the seeds to do what I'm already doing because I didn't start Foreign Closet until 2016, the
Okay.
fall, November of 2016. So this was May 2014. This way before I even knew I really wanted to do this for real, for real. So to have that experience, to travel internationally twice, it really just opened up my mindset. And then I was like, it made me see it was more out there than a New York, than a Dallas, and things like that. So I just feel like my mind would just really just start like getting super creative, and I was just like, okay, this is cool. I'm definitely in the right industry and I'm in the right field, but at that time I didn't know what exactly I wanted to do within the field in
No.
2014, if that makes sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And exposure, I like stand on 10 toes. Like exposure is one of the best things. Like
Yes.
will open up your mind, and the options just honestly become limitless. So,
Right.
just even hearing that you were able to go international and see that, like, foreign closet makes sense. It makes
Right.
so much sense. So I
Right.
agree with you saying, God was planting those seeds because it's the alignment for me.
Yes, but it's crazy because you only can have that aha moment when you look now. Back
Right.
then, you just like, I'm just going with the motion. I'm just trying to graduate, you know?
And I mean, that is the purpose of staying in it, because it's always hindsight.
Right.
Like, regardless of what we think we see, it's
Right.
always hindsight.
Right. That's true.
Okay, so who or what influenced your strong work ethic? I feel like I do know the answer to this question, but I will
What do you
say,
think?
let me see. I don't know with like what I know.
Yeah. I'm going to quiz you.
Well,
What you
no,
got?
I'm giving the question.
Okay.
Let me see. So I feel like with this question, like, who influenced your work ethic? To me, I think this is really funny, right? So me and Bria send very long voice memos, and Bria will be like, "I got 6 jobs and I'm trying to get this 8th job," and I'd be like, "Bria," like, it's never it can't get done. It's always what else do I need to do to get this done?
Right.
Even if it's this one little thing, like, I'm finna go, like, do this route.
Right.
Just
Sure will.
to make this next move, I think is
Right.
just amazing, because most people would just sit there and just try to figure out, like, what is it that I need to, pull together to, like, but they'll spend much time thinking about it.
Thinking, not enough executing.
Not enough
That's the
executing.
thing. It's okay to dream, but you got to put a little action behind that dream too. And then a little faith. Because you could be doing the action, but if you don't have no faith, then what we really doing?
Running around in circles. So agree. So, like, when it comes to that work ethic, and just that mindset behind, like, no, it's not an option. Like, where did that come from?
I think a lot of people know this answer, but if you don't, definitely my dad off the tops. And my grandma, my dad's mom.
Okay.
That's boss lady right there. That's the real boss lady. That's the queen. I'm the princess. I'm up next on the
Okay.
throne, okay? But definitely my grandma, and then my dad for sure. But my dad always told me, like, whatever you want to do it. And that's your plan A. You don't have a plan B or you don't have a plan C, because plan A is gonna work if you have the right mindset and you put your mind to it. So hearing that at an early age, all the way up to 13, before he passed, he was already molding and shifting my mindset. So that's why it's not hard now, because it's like it became a habit, even when it's hard. So I would definitely say my dad for sure, definitely influenced me. My dad was a Dallas firefighter and a paramedic, but he always had like a entrepreneurial like gig or business to the side, to have more money, and not even just to have more money, but just to network and just learn. Like my dad loved to learn, so my mom loves to learn too. So I think I get it from both of them. So yeah, I would definitely say them two, boss lady, grandma, and then my dad for sure.
Okay. Okay. And so going back to just saying, like, you started, I want to talk about, okay, you went to Hong Kong first, right? Let's paint this picture, right? Of becoming foreign closet.
Okay.
So you went to Hong Kong and China? Is that what you said?
Hong Kong and China,
Hong Kong and
May
China.
2014, and then
Okay.
I did the other international tour. So these are international tours through my college.
Okay.
So when I went to the University of North Texas, I was a merchandising major with a minor in marketing and logistics. So within the college, they have their own international study tours.
Okay.
So May of 2020, no, not 24, I'm sorry. May 2014, that was Hong Kong and China.
Okay.
And then I did it again for the second international tour, which is Europe. So for Europe, we went to Europe, Paris, and London.
Okay.
So we looked into other things in the fashion industry when we went to Europe, more on the creative direction, manufacturing, different things like that. But each study tour focused on different things. So China was more so supply chain, like vendors, the manufacturing, and then Europe was more so creative, trend forecasting, all of those different things.
Okay.
Just to kind of sum it up.
Okay, no, that's good. Okay, and then what next? Because so I'm trying to, I want you to be able to paint the story of like creating it because
Mm-hmm.
I had the idea to create Superior at UNT in
Mm-hmm.
a fashion class as well, but
Mm-hmm.
mine was sparked out of like like it was a bit of depression, but it was a bit of like I can't allow anyone else to make these,
Right.
these decisions for me. Like I have to be the one in control of my life. So it I came up with that idea in 2014 as well. Now that I think about it, and I
Okay.
didn't release it until 2016,
Ah, I
period.
love it. You're 10.
But I just know, like, in between, the moment that made me, like, push and say, go ahead and do Superior is when I started DJing. And it was
Mm,
like, okay, if I'm going to be DJing, then I need to be wearing my own brand. So,
right.
like, let me go ahead and, like, really push, like, just dive deep into this idea.
Right.
So, I would say, what was that moment for you of, like, you know what? Let me do this.
Right. So I graduated UNT, fast forward, I graduated UNT spring, so the May of 2016. In those first few months out of college, I feel like we don't talk enough about that. Like college you and post college you are two different people, you know? So I feel like I was trying to find my way. Then on top of that, I mean, I'm entering the real world. So honestly, being a merchandising major, it was a little discouraging when I did graduate because I feel like I had all this experience and knowledge and these great internships and all of that, but I could not get a job. Like I could not get a job, a high paying job, like out of school. And I'm just like, did I choose the wrong major? Like I did all this hard work. What's going on? These little
Where's the
pennies.
money?
Where's the money? I can't do this. So that's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna just do my own stuff. I'm about to pop it. You know, like I'm gonna do my own stuff. I don't know what I'm doing, but hey, I'm about to figure it out. You know how I am. I'm gonna figure it out. And then I'm gonna just start somewhere. So I took my knowledge from working in luxury retail, my buying and merchandising internships, my classes, study abroad. I took all that experience and I was like, okay, I saw what those companies were doing when I was working there, but I also saw the voids and the gaps or the issues that they weren't doing or the needs they weren't fulfilling. Because mind you, I'm firsthand. I'm on the floor, you know, especially in luxury retail. So I was like, I'm gonna just create my own stuff. I didn't have a budget at the time. I'm fresh out of college. I'm barely can get a job, you know? So I literally just started off with like graphic tees. And I knew I really loved menswear when I did my internship with Nordstrom when I graduated UNT. So I wanted to do something in the menswear lane, but it kind of started off in like a streetwear type thing. So like embroidery hats, screen printing, DTG on like hoodies and stuff like that. So I started that because I didn't know how to manufacture at that time, but I knew about the process, but I just didn't know how to do it for my own brand. So I started with that, and then it just kind of went from there. And then 2020, when COVID happened, I wanted to pick on a new skill. So I flew to Chicago. I went to this leather making school, and that was the birth of really the introduction to leather goods. So that was 2020. I didn't launch my first leather good until holiday of 2021.
Okay.
So I didn't do it until like over almost a little over a year later because I wanted to really make sure I knew what I was doing. And I started finding leather mentors and stuff like that just because I wanted to test my product first before I just started releasing it to other people. And this was a whole new lane for me, creating my own leather goods versus working with Louis Vuitton or Michael Kors or stuff like that. You know, that introduced me to leather, but doing your own thing, I didn't really know. But things just start falling into place. And, you know, again, I just used that transferable skills. And then, yeah, the rest is history. In the leather good lane, that's my lane. Like that's my niche. That's my lane, and we're gonna take off like a rocket.
You've already taken off, and I mean, it sounds easy what you're saying, but the everyday person is not like, oh, I'm just finna take this big old leap. Like, I'm finna go to
Right.
Chicago, and I'm getting ready to, like take this leather good. Like, it's one thing to find something in your city, but it's something else to say I'm gonna get on a flight and I'm gonna go
Right.
out here and dream big.
Right.
So, and I guess maybe just ask that, like, talk about your mindset when it comes to making these decisions of, and like, how do you know, like, this is and you may not know, but like, how do you know this is the next move? Like, this is what I should do right now. Like, I should get on this flight and I should go do this, or I
Well,
should apply for this program.
I mean, a part of it is if I'm unsure, or even if I am sure, I'm just gonna pray on it. And then on top of that, I kind of use my discernment. Like, if I know what I want to do, this could be the step to what I need to do. And so again, it was during COVID, so we can't go too far, you know. So I was even blessed to be able to get on a flight to go to Chicago, you know. And so when I knew I really wanted to do this, I just got on Google. This was for Chat GPT, obviously. So I just got on Google and I just started Googling leather goods schools. And then I started looking at locations. I started looking at budgets. I started looking at like flight time. Not flight times, but just like flights and hotels because obviously I'm going out of Dallas, you know? So, I mean, I just think my mindset was just do it. You know, like the worst thing that can happen is it just don't work. But at least this is another skill that I've learned because I've actually gained mentorships when I was there and, you know, like peers who are in the leather good market as well. So I think sometimes people can look at that too as like competition, but I look at it as like collaboration, you know,
Right.
because we all have our own lanes within the leather good industry, if that makes sense. And I just feel like it's enough money out here for all of us to win. It don't matter if you sell bags, just like we might sell the same type of purses, but what makes you unique and what makes me unique is totally different because I know I'm gonna put my little razzle dazzle on there, you know? So yeah.
No, and I believe that that is just having confidence of being in your own lane and honestly running your own race
Right.
because you don't have time to look and see like, okay, what is this person's doing, and it shows, and it's like it's so funny because you can talk about like competition or whatever, but as long as you're running your own race, and you're focused on that, I truly believe that, like and align with God, like that's the big one.
Hmm.
Even if someone is in competition with you, like it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like God's gonna
I wouldn't
deliver
even
it
know
at
anyway.
different you know what I'm saying? Like it keeps you focused
Right.
and it keeps that outside noise
That's exactly
out.
what it is. I feel like in this, not even just in this industry, but in this world, like we all have dreams. We all have things that we really want to do. Like cut out the outside noise. That's the first thing. Like, cause if you keep listening to other people, you ain't gonna never do it. Stop asking a lot of different people what I should and what you shouldn't do. They don't even know what they should be doing. So why are you even asking them? You know, like if
Right.
it's something that you want to do, just do it.
Yeah.
If it work, it work. If it don't, go back to the drawing board. It's really not that deep. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So this time in our life is gonna pass anyway. You might as well be impactful or do something that you really want to do. So that's how I look at it. And then experiencing loss at an early age in a lot of different areas, that really gave me the confidence to be like, just go. You know, especially
Yeah.
like losing my dad. Like he passed when he was like 38. That is young.
Right.
So it's just like, just imagine how much more of life he had to live because I'm in my 30s now, so I'm not too far off from 38, you know? So just, I want to make sure when I leave this earth, God is like, job well done, but also too, like, I lived a good life. You know, it wasn't an easy life, but I definitely did everything I wanted to do, you know,
Right.
with the time that was given to me. So I don't take that lightly, you know?
Right, Sister Whitaker.
Period. You know, my homeboys call me Sarah Jakes Roberts Jr. sometimes because sometimes I give you a word and I give you a sermon and you know how I am. I get on my little podium.
Podium. um Yeah, no, and I agree completely. One of the, I'll say like, child corporate got me talking about benchmarks and metrics that
But
I
that's
set for
good.
myself.
KPIs. You need those KPIs.
That, I set for myself is if you give 100% in something and it doesn't work out, like you have no choice but to walk away with your head up.
Right.
In either way, that's a direction. But a lot of times giving 100% will give you exactly what you need. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that is another direction. So it's all about, truly committing to, like you said, that decision. Like just do it. Just jump on in
Right.
and give it your all. And
Right.
it's gonna guide, it's gonna always let you know. And it's just, to me, I hear like living intentional, like
Mm-hmm.
making intentional decisions.
Yeah.
Okay. we briefly talked about what the experience like, what your experience was like losing your father, but um, can you go more into detail about how that journey, like how has this journey truly been, and how have you continued to like have that mindset to keep going and to keep like, listen, baby, we all know your daddy at this point. We honestly speaking, I've never met your dad, but you keep his name alive very well, and that is amazing because a lot of times, me personally, it's like we know someone passes away, and like we have our own personal grieving, but we're not constantly still uplifting and doing more to truly honor these people afterwards.
Okay.
So can you just like tell us about just that experience and your mindset and like just how you continue to dig deep.
So, I would say every day I feel like every day is a different like struggle or journey or whatever. I just try to surrender myself every day. So that's basically me just reprogramming my mindset when I wake up, because yesterday is not going to be the same as today. I may not have the best day Tuesday, but I'm like, okay, Wednesday, this is going to be a better day. Like, what did I do wrong? What can I do better? But as far as like my dad, just in all transparency, like I really feel like I was like robbed, honestly, because the way he was murdered, he was killed. And then from his case is still cold or whatever. And from the little information that I do have, they said it was a off-duty white officer or something, but that's a whole nother subject for a whole nother day. But the way that it happened, like I still remember like talking to him the night before, and then the next morning, I just remember all these firefighters and people at our house, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, why are these people here at the house? I'm ready to get on the bus, go to school, But that's when it happened. And then that day, later on in the morning, my mom had picked me up from school. And when I went into the principal office, she was crying. And I was like, what's going on? And I didn't want to think negative, but that was the day my dad was supposed to come back because he was out of town. And so he was supposed to come back that day. So I was like, did something happen while he was on the airplane or something?
Yeah.
This is this is 2008, by the way.
Okay.
So I'm in middle school. I'm 13. So I didn't, I was just kind of confused. But I just really feel like looking back at that moment all the way to now, I really feel like I was robbed. Like I was robbed of joy in certain moments of my life or certain things. Like my dad wasn't here to see me walk the stage, like, and I've graduated 3 times, high school, undergrad, masters, or me starting my business, or just other milestones that I've reached, or not even just the highlights of my life, like just a regular Tuesday. I just want to call my daddy, talk to my dad. I want to hear his voice. His voice was always so motivating and comforting to me. And if you really know me and my dad, like, that's the peanut butter to my jelly, okay? When you see him, you see me. That's my shadow, And same with my mom too. But as far as like my dad goes, like, yeah, I just really feel like I was robbed because even now I'm not a mom yet and I'm not married yet, but I know when that time comes, like that's going to be a bittersweet moment for me. Like when I have my first child, that's going to be a bittersweet moment because I want my future child or children to meet my dad and how awesome of a pawpaw he would have been. I don't know what he wanted them to call him, but I don't know. I just think pawpaw. And then also, too, I would say whenever I get married, it's just like I have wonderful men in my life, like my cousins, my grandfathers, like my brother, all of that, my uncles. So having someone walk me down the aisle, like that's going to be hard for me because they all like, well, I could do it. I would love to do it, but it's nothing like having my dad walk me down the aisle, So I feel like moments like that where it's just like, it's kind of bittersweet a little bit. But I would say that's the grief of losing a parent at an early age. It never really just gets better. It's hard every day when life is lifing, no matter what age or what I'm going through. Like, that's the person that I could count on. Like, I talk to him about anything. Like, we would go to Waffle House dates before he would drop me off at school in the morning. Like, yeah, I'm like, most times you thinking when you go to school, you better get a little McDonald's or a little donuts. My dad said, we're going to Waffle House. So that's the one who put me on to All-Star Special, at an early age. So I'm like, shout out to Pops for that because the girl love All-Star Special, okay?
I ain't going to talk about my order because people judge me because
Ah.
I need my raisin toast.
Oh, yeah. I'm good on it. I'm good on the raisin
People are
toast.
haters.
But if you put it on my plate, I'm not going to discriminate, okay?
Okay.
But yes. So, yes, but I think also too, like, just something that I've struggled with, and I'm big on mental health. Like, I've been in therapy, I think this year is going on 8 years I've been in therapy. So, I did therapy when it first happened with my dad, when I lost my dad, but it didn't really, like, it wasn't nothing that I stuck with. It was when I got to college where I wanted to be intentional about, like, I really have I'm a great person, obviously, and people see the good, but I was very intentional about the dark side of my life, like the grief, the loneliness, like the abandonment, because in a way I lost my dad, so sometimes I grieve for my dad, and sometimes that abandonment can sometimes show up in other relationships or other aspects of your life, and so I just kind of feel like a lot of people don't talk about grief. Of course, grief of my dad, but just where I am now as a woman, like the grief of losing friends.
Right.
Because your friends that may be your friends back then may not be your friends now, but also being open-minded to new dynamics. And, what Drake say, no new friends?
Right.
I don't believe in that because it's like I done met some people recently in my life that's way more solid than people that I know or family. You get what I'm saying? So it's just like using my discernment with that. So grief with friendship, grief with my dad, grief with romantic relationships, and not even just that, like grieving my old self. Like when I hit 30, like even before I hit 30, like grieving myself in the flesh, but also spiritually.
Right.
Because in order for me to get to this next point, like I have an anointed over my life and I know that. So I have to be obedient and responsible with that. I can't do what other people do because God gonna make an example out of me every
single
time.
Every time. I'm right here with you.
And I just be like, I'm not gonna lie.
I can't do it one time.
I done told you before, I'm like, I'm on a strong soldier list again. Like, remove me immediately. What that okay, I'm not trying to talk about that man on the TikTok, but he say, cut the cameras. I'm done. Like that be me almost every other week, okay? Because I'm like,
but I gotta go through something again. We always gonna be on the strong soldier
and it can be kind of ghetto, but
real ghetto.
I'm like looking back at some of those moments. I'm like, okay, God, you funny because now I see why you took me through that because I needed to learn more patience,
right? Or
I needed to learn how to work with different people. I needed to learn. It's not always God, not always punishing you. I think that's what we need to like plant in our heads.
Right.
It's not punishment. Sometimes you going through stuff because of your own actions. Let's start
you ain't
there.
learning. You keep bumping your head.
Yeah, let's just start there. Sometimes we self-sabotage ourselves, but we don't want to talk about that. That's a whole nother subject for another day. Let me not get started. Yes, but sometimes it's self-sabotage. You like, God is punishing me. Why? No, God is just like, you make the bed. I'm gonna let you sit in there for a little bit because that's how you gonna learn when you bump your head, right? But then sometimes too, it's intentional. Like I need to take you through this so that way you can get through,
right?
So I feel like a lot of these different obstacles, basically in a nutshell, and challenges have really molded and shaped me to who I am today. And like I said, just being intentional about things in my personal life, because going to therapy and fixing those different traumas or whatever like that helps me in my business too. Because if you're not right personally, that's going to spill into your professional life, whether you have a business or not. So I'm very intentional about my peace and my space and just being the best Bria that I can be. And even if that means just 1% every day, that's all I got. That's all I got today.
Yeah.
All I got is 1%. I can't be 94% every day. Sometimes just waking up, working out, praying, or just doing what I need to do, you did enough today. Now rest.
I really do love all of that. So how is it that you're able to, keep your joy and, walk so gracefully? And like, how would you encourage others to do the same?
Yeah, I would say, I feel like joy comes from within. Like every day I have to make a decision for myself that today is gonna be a great day. Like I saw a quote the other day on social media that said, if you can always overthink the bad, why can't you use that same energy to overthink the good? And that's just how I daily operate. Like it's a mindset thing, but it's really psychological. Like the
Right.
more good that you say and speak over yourself or just watch or just listen to, like it's a domino effect, you know? So it's just like I know joy comes from within. Joy can't come from anybody else. A man, a family, my dad. Even I love my dad dearly, you know?
Right.
Joy comes from within. So that's something that I have to work on. And I encourage other people to do the same, even when it does not feel good, even when you're uncomfortable. But just being committed to finding that joy. What does that joy look like for you? Because it may look different for other people, you know. And
Yeah.
I just feel like joy for me looks. It's simple. I feel like life is simple. I feel like us humans make it complicated. So the joy is in the simple things. My journey. The joy is in my family. The joy is having this conversation with you. It's the little things that we often take for granted because we always so busy, you
Yeah.
know. So I always just tell people to take a moment just to slow down a little bit. Let's slow down. Let's
Right.
slow down a little bit and let's just enjoy what's in front of us now, because we always so trying to get to the next thing, and I'm
Right.
very guilty of that, you know.
Right. I was gonna
So
say, I feel
yeah,
like we just had this conversation maybe like last month or so where we both was, or maybe it was like 2 months ago. I feel like we didn't had to pick it up. I don't know, time
yes,
be moving fast, but
it
we
do
just
be
had
moving
that
fast.
conversation about like just slow down, like let's just embrace where we're at.
Right,
Um, living and answer
living
prayers.
in answer prayers. This is an answer prayer.
This is an answer prayer. So, as you know, we talk about slowing down. Are there any particular moments in your journey that that just like you would relive? You know what I mean? Like they just have been extremely pivotal, and again, you would relive them.
Yeah, I think I have a few, but I would definitely say I don't. Hmm. I would say Paris Fashion Week. That
Okay.
was a good one for me because I remember my mentor. Shout out to Miss Tiffany. That's my second mama, my mentor. She was like, I remember I got the opportunity to do Paris Fashion Week, and I was just so nervous because I was just like, I've done New York Fashion Week, but that was just as a stylist and a volunteer and an intern, like these different times where I did attend. So doing it as a designer, that was kind of a little intimidating and scary. She was like, "Girl, apply to that Paris Fashion Week. Get off my phone. Click." I was like, okay." So I had applied and then I had got it, but not even just business. I would just say like therapy has been really good for me because I'm learning more about myself, and I just
Right.
feel like I'm unlocking another level of just who I am, becoming Bria.
Yes.
So, and I also think too, it's just so cool just to see like where I've been like the beginning of this year or last year all the way up until now. So I don't take that lightly. I feel like it's a lot of moments that I would relive. But I don't know. I'm just super grateful for all the moments.
Again, just to, elaborate on that and bring into perspective living and answer prayers. As a designer, someone would love to say, I've even styled in New York Fashion Week. I've had my brand in Paris Fashion Week. Also, like New York Times squares and seeing your brand up there, I think is super lit.
Yeah, me too.
Like
And it was on my birthday
cheesing
too.
from on your birthday,
It was
like
on my 30th birthday too, by the way.
to me, we can't say that this is not for one intentional, but we also can't say like this is not an answered prayer. And you still have so far to go because
I
it's like,
know.
wait, you've already done that,
Right.
right? And we're
And it
still
don't feel like it. I'm just so chill, laid back, humble, down to earth. I just be chilling. And so sometimes I be like, dang, I really did do that.
you really did do that.
But you know how I am. I just be like, yeah, I did that. Next question. What we about to eat?
Right. But I mean that goes into slowing down though.
Right.
Because we do have to take time and like honestly embrace all of these different things
Right.
that, are honestly that we're experiencing.
Right.
Okay, so with everything you've already overcome and accomplished, what can the audience look forward to next for Foreign Closet?
Ooh, it's a lot of great stuff that they can look forward to. We have some new collections dropping in the fall, this upcoming fall. We also have holiday dropping. I have a few like workshops coming up that I'm super excited about. I have a lot of things coming up. And if you're interested in going back to school, you can take my course at the University of North Texas because I am Professor B. Period. But yes, I have a lot of great things coming up, and yeah, I really think what y'all should do is just follow me on social media. Can I get in my social media?
Absolutely.
Okay. So Foreign Closet on Instagram is at Shop Foreign Closet. And then my Instagram is at I am Bria, Bria, Charlize, Charlise on Instagram, TikTok, all of that. If you follow one, you'll see the other one, and then you can just follow like that. But other than that, this was fun.
Yes, no, it was really fun. I do want to share. I've been trying to figure out how I should word it because I don't want to say I fell in love with Bria, but I have not been able to come up with like a different saying. Like as a creative, it was when you did that photo shoot where you were counting money.
Oh,
and
that's a fan favorite.
I was like, oh, she's
Not
different.
not you calling her a fan, but
No,
I'm just saying everybody, they always reference that shoot. Like
at that time,
shoot
I was
good.
definitely a fan. I was like, oh no, she different. I love this energy, and to me, it's about proclaiming like. You didn't need nobody to tell you the boss. You said, I'm finna sit up here. I'm finna set this scene up. I'm finna count this money. I'm finna call myself Billionaire B.
I had my little cigar, period. Big
was
boss
just-
stuff.
it was
I had the UGK
flawlessly.
playing in the background. you know.
And then you had your faces on like the
Oh, the $1 billion
on the $1 billion
on the $100 bill. Yeah.
You know, this is about dreaming bigger. This is about putting out there like you've already proclaimed what it is.
Right. That's why I call myself Billionaire B.
Billionaire B.
It's not about the money. It's the mindset. And
But show me
everything
the
else will
money, just
follow.
FYI.
Yeah.
I don't want.
We
I
need
don't
the money.
never want it to
We
be
want to
so-
get paid for sure. So,
We
yes.
want to get paid for sure, but you have to be able to see it for yourself
Right.
before it will.
Anybody else?
Come on now.
Yes.
So yes, that was the moment, and then I was like, because we still didn't know each other, even though I'm like we were following each other. I don't even remember how I first started following you. I don't remember none of that because we didn't meet at UNT. We honestly didn't meet until I had a project for a client.
Oh, yes.
And I was like, you know what? This is my perfect time. I'm like, she said, oh man, let me meet with her. Let me see what.
That was the best thing
do.
we could have ever done.
Yes. And from then on, you know, I've been truly grateful to be able to, you know,
Likewise.
just now consider you a friend because
Right.
before I'm like, I just want to work with her, like two
Right.
creatives linking up. But now
Right.
to be able to witness your journey up close and personal, like I feel so honored.
Yes, I'm honored too.
And so I'm so excited for you and all of the things that you have coming up. Again, we couldn't even put words on it because I know it's bigger. I know God has something amazing for you, bigger than anything we could imagine. So, yes. If our listeners remember just one message from you today, what do you hope it is?
My message will be everybody can be a billionaire. Everybody should adapt the billionaire mindset. I think that's something that's transferable. I think it's all about who you surround yourself with. And just stop dreaming and just execute it. What Nike say, just do it. It'd be
Just
too many
do
people
it.
talking and not enough action for me. So, yeah.
Okay, but also tell them, how is it that they can live and answer prayers too?
That's a great question. For me, like I said, my faith ties a big part into it. So just really just intentionally seeking what God wants from me. But if you're not spiritual, I would just say just do what feels right in your gut, that intuition. You know when something is off and when something is right for you, you know? So if you have to think about it and be hesitant about it, that's probably not what you need to be doing. But if it just flows and it feels good, then I would say go for it. Like you only get one life. You might as well just
Yellow.
just do it. And if it don't work, again, go back to the drawing board. It's
Right.
not that deep.
It's not that deep, y'all. But this conversation was deep. So we definitely appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'm so happy to have you as the first guest. I felt like it made the most sense, right? Living and
honored.
answer prayers, and we still have so far to go.
Right.
So thanks for tuning in. Subscribe, like,
This
follow.
gonna hit 1 million views.
Period. Right? Cause we'll talk. I'll send you a voice. I'll send you a voice memo.
memo. We got
later.
that's the podcast for real.
Right. But yes. Okay, Bria. And one more time before you leave, let people know where they can find you.
Yes, so you can follow me on Instagram or TikTok. My personal page is at I am Bria Charlize. That's IAM BRIA CHARLISE. Or you can follow me with my business page, which is Foreign Closet, on Instagram and TikTok. That's at Shop Foreign Closet. And then if you want to shop, it's shopforeigncloset.com. Gotcha.